Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and those of non-binary genders. This is the ALTTTPR Randomizer League Mystery Week. I am Bungee the Tree, and today I am joined by Bandman25. Bandman, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right today. Nothing too exciting for a Friday.
All right. I mean, there's lots of exciting action. We've got a mystery seed, and we don't know what we're after. Don't quite know what we're up against here. Right now, we have shadyforce representing the spoilers, and relkin representing I Like Big Boots. So you've been following us a little tighter than I have. Bandman, how are these teams faring so far?
Right now, both teams are in the Kakariko division. I Like Big Boots right now is currently in second place. They're right behind Kinda Rando Retired, but they have one less match than they do. And currently the spoilers are sitting tied for fourth place with It's Mitts, but again, they are one match less than with It's Mitts, so it'll probably change later tonight.
Absolutely. Well, we've got one of these matches right up here. So we should be into the action in just a moment. I know I'm excited. I've got my entrance tracker ready and everything to go. Okay, so we know what we're up against when we see it.
Oh yeah, this could be interesting. Gonna be interesting.
All right, we're into week 4 of this. Lots of fun action so far, and still lots of fun action to see up ahead of us. So make sure you get it locked into the Speed Gaming network of channels as we get further and further into this awesome ALTTTPR Randomizer League season. All right, we should be off to the races in just a moment. Any predictions to start us off, or anything you want to see from this mystery seed, Bandman?
Right now, I kind of want to see something nice. I know I watched the earlier match today, and even the match right before this. It was an all dungeon. I did a see the other day. It was all dungeons. It'd be kind of nice to see something fairly simple, at least to end this week for these guys. I'm sure they've had it rough, especially with the fun 3.5-hour match I saw last night. So something a little nicer tonight might be a little bit easier.
All right. Well, we'll see what those predictions again. I personally just want to see I want to see these guys put to the test in a fun way. And I don't want to see torture. I just want to see them fighting, and I want to see competitiveness throughout. Both of these runners pretty of high acclaim, and let's see if we can keep that going.
Oh yeah, with both these runners, I've watched them many times, and definitely great runners. It's going to be a great match tonight.
Absolutely. In a second here, we should be off to the races. Hope you're as excited as I am, Chad. It's been a while since I've been behind the microphone for one of these awesome races, and hoping to get more of that opportunity with things going on the way they are. We'll just see here, shadyforce versus relkin is the file name on shadyforce's side, and while relkin really wants to see some entrance. So we'll see we will see if he gets his wish or not. And it looks like we are finally off to the races, and we're starting off, and we're seeing some standard mode.
Oh, and it's with the sword. Oh, that's gonna be nice.
All right, so it looks like we're so far we know we're looking at some standard. So that pretty much takes entrance off the table. And it looks like Uncle was holding a sword, so we at least have a assured sword, if not potentially vanilla swords. So this should be an interesting one to watch here, as both of the racers are going to make their way over to Uncle and pick up what appears to be an assured sword. So this is an assured sword, and we will see if we're going to see if this is going to be assured or vanilla. That is yet to be seen here. So we're going to pick up the first chest here and find our dinner plate. As chat was calling out that they saw the 6th crystal in the Eastern Palace and the red pendant in the desert. All right, now we're going to make our way into continuing the escape sequence. Shadyforce making quick work of that green guard. All right, well, Zelda is on filling us in here, as there's a lot of things about these mystery seeds that I just I don't have as much experience as someone like these runners would. So these small details of things you can pick up just from the file select screen alone has been really interesting to learn about. seeing that there's the wouldn't be sure we would have started with it, or it just would have been on the final screen. All right, we'll go ahead and make quick work of the blue garden and find the small key that we had to find somewhere within this dungeon. All right, continuing to make our way through here. Mario clearing a way through as the cursor accidental fall, which you really don't want to see here. A little bit of time lost in this escape sequence, but this should make it up rather quickly. These blue guards just not really cooperating for Shady Force. As Relkin makes quick work of that next blue guard, or the next green guard, and moves on into the next screen. Poke and a spin, 10 sticks, and they're down to Zelda's cell. Alright, and Shady Force has gone ahead and cleared through it there, as Relkin is making their way down into that first boss of the game. The ball and chain guard with the fighter sword in hand shouldn't be too difficult. Alright, if you get this set up just right, you can cheese that guard into the corner, and he can't hit you, but you can sure tear into them. So far, the only thing we've known of the rule set is we are in standard mode, and we're at least looking at vanilla or very lucky swords. Probably vanilla, but that won't be determined until we can see what's on the pedestal, or we can pick up the ones from the fairy, the fountain, the pyramid fairy, or the trolls, or excuse me, the dwarves. All right, both of our runners have Princess Zelda, and they're making their way into the back of the escape sequence. So far, not a whole lot of keeping these runners down. Although the sword and shield, a nice early pickup combo if they're playing any other game where the sword or the shield might actually be useful. Not so much the case in Zelda. I mean, maybe you'll block an arrow here or there, but you don't see that used all that often. Alright, Relkin is back up out of the basement as Shady Force is about to be there themselves. Just a slight difference here in the beginning, but I'd imagine this will be made up shortly. We'll see where this seed takes us off to and what kind of direction it points us in. So looking at, yep, and so Saunders putting up a good point is we're probably not looking at key sanity at this point, as we haven't gotten any text boxes about where these keys are coming from. So right now we're looking at probably vanilla swords standard, which is pretty less than exciting, but still a good match, as the rats have a really nice care package here of the bombs. So we're gonna go back there so we're gonna head back in there. He's gonna have the bombs ready for the back of the escape sequence. Shady Force still has yet to find his bomb. Perhaps he's gonna look to the ropes in this room to pick up his drops. To find 50 rupees in Dark Cross. The ropes not being as bountiful with the bombs, only giving up sticks so far. I could still be facing up some hard difficulty yet. The difficulty yet to be seen. Well, it is rather difficult to determine those difficulties until we get towards the end of the seed and we see what's actually available to us, or perhaps once we find ourselves a boomerang, or the hook shot to actually block up these. There's more bombs dropping from the rats there.
Blue boomerang. Oh, ice rod.
That's a nice little early care package there in the back of escape sequence that thankfully Shady Force managed to pick up one bomb. So they're going to be set to be able to get through this. So they're going to have a nice little bit of refill from the rats there. And Relkin is back upstairs and will almost be pushing themselves into the thing. Alright, we're going to head and continue through the end of this, and that's the end of the escape sequence, just over 6 minutes. Pretty good time, and what is this?
My.
We have some entrance on our hands.
Oh, didn't see that one coming. As standard as that happened, oh my, you would have thought, okay, we're going to go straight to Kakariko. All of a sudden, we're now on the other side of the graveyard. Holy cow.
Yep, and now it's time to reopen my entrance trackers, and let's get started here. What kind of entrance, though? That's the last thing that we need to see. Is there are many different entrance shuffle settings than we could see ourselves here. Could be simple, could be full, could be crossed.
It's like the Sanctuary took us to the Thieves' Hideout there in Lost Woods.
Alright, so meanwhile, Relkin is making their way up towards to check the entrance here at the Witch's Hut, while shadyforce is making their way through a more standard pathing. Relkin taking the opportunity to check this out-of-the-way entrance to see if it's anything that'll give us more information, and that was the potion shop. So we're looking at, either, so we are looking at simple entrance shuffle here. Because it looks like just the dungeons have been shuffled thus far.
Looks like Relkin's going to make his way.
Or it could have been vanilla. So Lumberjack was just vanilla. Threw me off for a big... Oh boy! There we have found the sick kid up there at Lumberjack. Alright, so there's a lot. So we got ourselves some kind of entrance. Whether it'll be full or will it be crossed is yet to be seen. As we see just... Alright. I mistook the Lumberjack for the potion shop for a regular shop. Boy, my rust is showing.
Yeah, it was just a regular shop that you might see in Kakariko Village.
And there we are, just a single rupee growing in the Lost Woods here. Now, throwing me for a loop here, as I wasn't ready to handle this entrance shuffle, as we find out that the magic bat is hanging out there in
Lost Woods.
In the Lost Woods drop-down.
Water crab given 5 blue rupees.
You know, a nice little bit of coin, but both of our runners already seeing a fair amount. Alright, we're going to check the fortune teller here and find that's just another great fairy who needs it. Alright, and now we're into the plethora of entrances that is Kakariko Village. What have we here to find? Alright, that's just a standard shop there. shadyforce taking a moment to mark the track, or Relkin just a little bit behind. But it is kind of an artificial behindness, as we're just looking at the choice to go ahead and check out that potion shop location.
There was a bottle there on Lumberjack.
Alright, so bottle on Lumberjack, and we've got ourselves a nice early find here of the Thieves' Hideout here. And there's a nice
hook shot.
Hook shot will be nice. It'll help us give these runners a little bit more defense as they make their way through. Did shadyforce go up into that room?
No, he did not. He bombed it, but he did not go in.
shadyforce potentially orphaning an important item. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them. And go ahead and making the drop gamble, thankfully landing at Lumberjack Ledge. Or perhaps having already scouted it ahead of time. Or into the useless fairy, excuse me. Alright, the pot farm was there. We'll see what we've got from our friend Bottle Vendor. Eventually I'm going to keep through. I will remember how this video game works. You'll have to bear with me, chat.
There's Bonk Rocks with the glove.
Alright, a nice early pickup there with that mitt. We found another piece of the Dark World puzzle. Alright, well, we'll see what is going on in the chicken hut here. And that is the bad side of Ice Rod Cave, and we'll see what was left behind here by shadyforce. Thankfully, just 3 bombs, so not going to come back to bite them quite yet. As we find another fortune teller, nothing too interesting there. So that's a big sigh of relief if you're a shadyforce fan to see that there was just 3 bombs that they skipped there in that back of the Thieves' Hideout. Alright, shadyforce is going to go ahead and cut down the bushes that are blocking this house. And we're going to find ourselves the pot farm.
That's the one we typically find just south. What was that? Southwest of the desert.
And there we have the Palace of Darkness here in Kakariko Village. Shady Force going to go ahead and at least check the first, find the first thing here. Alright, so far all we know that we have either a full or crossed entrance shuffle seed with potentially vanilla swords. As we're going to find the big key there and find out that we are looking at a bow-locked Palace of Darkness right now. And did you see what the entrance that Relkin just walked out of was?
No, I did not.
Well, we should be able to see it on Shady Force's side as we find out that that shop, that was Bumper Cave?
Yeah, that's Bumper Cave. Yep.
Alright, we're gonna keep that in mind here as we found one of our potential connectors.
Let's see, I think we just found Ganon.
And well, we have found the big pig himself. Alright, so we solved that puzzle. So we're looking at potentially some items being blocked up here. And there we found a dark cave there. We'll have to see what that entrance ends up being as we get further down the line there. Relkin going to be finding the Palace of Darkness here just in a moment. Going to find out that it is bow locked and he can't do a whole much else there. Shady Force, I don't know. I know that they have been over to the Bobbable Hut.
No, you're not. That was only Relkin that has been there so far.
So that's two things potentially overlooked. If that connector ends up being important,
Ooh, there's waterfall.
As we find out. All right, so we do find out that it is randomized swords. We just got really lucky with that sword roll there. We'll get one side of the connector here to find out it's a bunch of garbage. And we'll see if we need to find that connector for this entrance. If this item here in the race game is something of note. Thankfully for us, it's just 50 rupees, so we don't even have to worry about where that connector where the other end of that connector is. Alright, Shady Force going ahead and checking out the archery game here to find out, ooh, what have we here? We found ourselves a Super Bunny Cave. And with that hookshot in hand, Shady Force is going to go ahead and grab the items here and potentially see where this will take him. Nice execution of that clip. There. So this is going to be a one-way trip for him, but two items, you definitely don't turn this away. And Zelda bringing up a good point, as we are playing an entrance shuffle, it is likely that the quick slop is enabled for this seed. Alright, so where is Super Bunny going to spit us out? That's the main thing we need to see here on Shady Force's side. And we are on the mountain here. On the right side. Alright, we find a useless shop down here. Or the useless chess game down there. Relkin go ahead and clearing up the entrance in the Kakariko side. That's actually a fairly good connector. That's what you'd like to see if you're playing the seed. As we find the pot farm, nothing too interesting there. And with the hook shot there, lots of access available. The whole mountain's here, and there we found our first part of Paradox Cave. Unfortunately, not a whole lot we can do here. Given our current equipment, we need a mirror to get past that block. But something to keep in mind. Going for having them mulling over their options, though, they may not realize that the hookshot does give them access to go across that bridge the back way and see more of those. But unfortunately, those Tektites had another idea. Alright, so with that, Shady is... Yeah, Relkin's picking up the old man, so he must have found the old man. How did he get to the old man connection? I'm confused. We find the... Oh, boy! There's the bottom of the whatchamacallit. Of the Spectacle Rock Cave. Alright, not a lot there, as Shady Force is going to go ahead and drop into the back of Escape here and pick up the 20 rupees on Lumberjack.
Chat's pointing out that he probably found the old man in that earlier dark cave that we saw a little bit earlier. He probably that was probably the back way into getting the old man.
Actually, a pretty excellent play by Relkin to navigate an unknown dark room as you find out that the connector for Spectacle Rock Cave not very useful. It's just going to take you up one level of the mountain. So that means that there must have been the old man exit. So I'm going to call that one Old Man Rescue 1 here. And there we found Desert Palace left on the mountain. Meanwhile, Shadyforce on the left side of your screen, making their way through the south shore there. Go ahead and see what is hanging on as we find out we have a Boots Lock Desert Palace, and Shadyforce has found Hotel Mario on the south shore. The Desert Palace being bootlocked, there's the small key, so Relkin's going to continue on the right side. Thankfully, Shadyforce has the glove there, which is a really good thing to find in entrances. He'll be able to check all 3 entrances over by the Ice Rod Cave. Won't have to leave any of those behind, and that's always a feels-bad situation when you get stuck into something like that. There's the magic powder there. We do have access to that magic bat check now. As we're going to see our first of 3 doors there. Hello, we've got an ice palace in the Ice Rod Cave. As Relkin takes a death there in Desert. As we find the C-shaped house here. Alright, so we've got Desert left on the top there.
Ooh.
Hello, it's the Tower of Hera. And as we find the, we have an almost vanilla Ice Rod Cave. Alright, so Relkin gonna be able to clear a fair amount of this cave. Thankfully, we've got the big key in sight, so no have to worrying about Hera Pot for progression, but it looks like he's gonna go ahead and go for the Hera Pot trick here. Or for some version of Hera Pot. And there are so many versions of this trick, it's absolute insanity. I can't even begin to keep up with all the different ways that you can do this. It looks like Shadyforce thought about doing a fake flipper. It looks like they're gonna try to set it up there. Watch out for that fireball. That could have taken him out there. Alright, now we've opened up the big chest here to find the small key that'll take us into the basement. No fire to take care of it. As we find the compass. So it looks like one of the 2 items is in the bottom there. And we'll see that the Hylia Island, nothing of note. And Relkin's gonna head and bounce their way up to their date with Moldorm.
Well, this will definitely be an easy fight for him, especially with the with the Tempered Sword.
Absolutely, just 3 swipes will take out this. A swipe and a spin will take that out here. And we find out just 5 rupees there from the hobo. Good thing to remember.
And bombs from hobo.
And that's the 5-6 crystal. Or that is a crystal from the Tower of Hera, excuse me, just a regular one picked up there. And as a reminder, thanks to those that are more familiar, hints are not enabled for any of these seeds, so that takes away just a bit of the play here from entrance. Entrance hints a little bit better. We have not yet seen a crystal count, so we don't know how many crystals we need to get into Ganon's tower or take out the big pig himself.
There's Hookshot Cave.
All right, we got a nice Hookshot Cave. Where was that? Where was that? He found it there.
That was the fortune teller's house next to Lake Hylia.
All right, go ahead and mark that on my tracker there. Try to keep all of these things straight for you guys.
Pretty empty so far, just in cash.
All right, and Relkin must have seen something of import here on top, or at least wants to find out the other end of this connection here. Having already cleared through most of the entrances on this side of the mountain.
Oh, here we go. Here's Paradox Cave.
All right, here's another bit of Paradox Cave.
You actually complete it now. And this was at the shop just north of the Lake Hylia, there by the fortune teller shop.
All right, so lots of the connectors being revealed here as Relkin has found his way onto Aghanim's tower just to be able to swipes out the sword just to find King's Tomb. Not a whole lot there, as we've got the Moon Pearl found by Shadyforce. So many things coming in here fast, hot and fast here, as our runners are in two entirely different places, picking up entirely different sets of items. And we'll see what is on the left side of Aghanim's tower, and that is our bomb shop.
Got a mirror. You're there on Shadyforce's side, there in Upper Paradox.
So we've got Mirror Moon Pearl on Shadyforce, kind of the cross keys delight of item pickups there. All right, and now we're going to finally see the final entrance here, as we have determined that so far none of the connectors have shown up crossed.
I believe we are in cross keys because Relkin just went into the Dark World. He went out of it.
So where did that just? I haven't crossed entrance. Excuse me, no keys.
Sorry.
I'm just so used to crossed entrance being keys.
Yeah, and he just finished there on the Dark World of where the Ice Rod Cave is at.
All right, and where was that? What connection was that?
That was Paradox Cave.
Were both sides in Dark World?
Yes, I believe so.
There's a lot of things to be keeping track of when both sides of the map are doing completely different things. Shadyforce on the left is into the Eastern Palace area, as we're going to see the Light World Hype Cave, just to find a regular shop. So far, we have not seen any Light World Dark World connections, so we could just be looking at a full entrance shuffle here, as we're going to find the chicken hut at Sahasrala's house. And Relkin's going to go ahead and make their way across the bottom of the map here. So where was that? I'm trying to think of where the entrances came through there, between that corner of the Dark World and where he came through from. So much to keep track of here. All right, Shadyforce making the way over to Eastern Palace. Relkin making the way across. Will find Ice Palace. Not a lot they'll be able to do there without any way of killing those Freezors, unfortunately. And we'll see what Eastern Palace has become. All right, and there's our Pyramid Fairy. Nice 2 quick pickups and an extra, and that was, I believe, the Sanctuary Heart. So nice little bit of refill there for Shadyforce. All right, we're gonna make our way down towards the 5 portal to see what's in that fairy. What is in that fairy fountain? As Relkin finds that almost vanilla Ice Rod Cave, just 20 bucks inside. See what Relkin decides to do next here. So they're gonna walk out of there. I think they at least have one more entrance to check here. As we're going to see what is in this very much out of the way cave here for Shadyforce. Seahorse a whole lot of nothing, and we see a shop here for on Shadyforce's side. Nothing too crazy.
Oh, we got ourselves Ice Palace there again, which it would be there by Ice Rod Cave. So I think we already knew that one. So.
Yep, absolutely. So Shadyforce can go ahead and make their way over to other parts of the Southern Light World here. Have not seen the dam checked, to my knowledge, as well as nothing around the Desert Palace area. So it looks like we're finally going to see our first window into the dam 25 minutes in. Almost 26. Nothing really of note there at the dam. Still haven't found a way to drain the water, so that item's still left to be seen. Relkin using the fake flippers to check these couple of flipper checks. Fortunately, we know that there's a whole lot of nothing for him here. Shadyforce gonna go ahead and check out the Rupee Farm location, only to find, hello, we've got ourselves a spiral cave. I'm gonna go ahead and just take that one-way dive. Interesting, when they have more entrances to check, to not to want to come back. Or at least perhaps at least you would have checked up the entrance north of here, but more interested in where this connection is going to take him. And with that, we've got the item pickup here. There, and that's a really good find. That's the flippers picked up for Shadyforce. at the other end of Spiral Cave. As we find themselves spit out at Desert Palace, right? It didn't even come back to hurt them because it sent them right where they wanted to go. That's something. As we find another connector. The quarreling brothers here.
Mimic Cave there at Waterfall on Relkin side.
Alright, so there's another... The Relkin's up on the top there, and there we have it. Confirmation that we've got cross keys on our hands. Because we just went from light to dark world. Alright, so shadyforce gonna go ahead and mirror over here. Or excuse me, the crossed entrance, no keys. I have to unbreak that habit.
Yeah, I'm not going to judge you on it, so you're doing better than I am, because I would be messing it up probably twice as much as you would be.
Alright, so there we have just a whole lot of nothing there from that entrance. Shadyforce mulling over their options here as we're going to see our very first visit to the king of all scams here, as Shadyforce unfortunately takes a mirror bonk. And what is going for 500 rupees today in Hyrule? Just 3 beautiful artisanal bombs. Actually, Chad bringing up a good point. Well, yes, we've confirmed that it's crossed. We haven't seen any real value to crossing as of yet, because we already have other ways of reaching these entrances. As shadyforce realizing they had never actually checked this entrance, and all we know is that it's dark. That whatever it is, it's dark. As Relkin's going to go ahead and continue with their way down the southern shore here. Still the cave north of the pot farm yet to be picked up. We'll see if Relkin actually gets a chance to visit that location. Yes, Mimic Cave entrance was checked, and it wasn't anything of note. Because he did mirror across. And we're going to double confirm.
Sorry about that, go ahead.
So we see is that shadyforce has realized what that entrance is, as we find Hype Cave in that location that shadyforce has left. We'll see what kind of Hype Cave we have here. Thus far, bombs, a heart container, a heart piece, 20 rupees, and 300. So not a whole lot missed by shadyforce there, unless he really wants some love or some money.
Well, hopefully he's going to go back and do Spiral Cave. Oh, he's passing it up.
Well, he doesn't know that it's going to be spitting him out right ahead. Perhaps he's thinking what I was thinking when we first came here is like, okay, I'll come back to that in case that's a connector or whatever it is, but he's going to find another connector here. So just so many things. So he just wants to check off his entrances before chasing connections.
And shadyforce just picked up the old man to get his tempered sword.
Also going to get the news about this connection. As we see the first information, I don't believe shadyforce made their way over there to find out that the fire rod is up there. So that might be some information that shadyforce did not see on Desert Ledge, as I think he took that right spit out entrance and ended up over there. So that's a big piece of information that Relkin now holds. So, however they're going to find the way up onto that Desert Palace ledge, we'll give them something. Shadyforce realizing there's nothing there but information, but information that wasn't there, but perhaps could have taken a free heal if he was feeling threatened by the dead rock that just murked him. Unfortunate bit of time lost there. Shadyforce is going to make the best of it, make the best of things, and get spit out there by the old man into the village of outcasts. Alright, so into the village of outcasts you go, just to find a fairy fountain there underneath the statues. Relkin's going to find out gonna get his confirmation that we're playing cross keys. To find so far, not a whole lot happening here in the village of outcasts. No hammer to be able to make our way into that house. Shadyforce going to make their way over left, as Relkin had enough, having seen enough, is going to go ahead and safe and quit. Someday I'll force myself to say crossworld, as we're going to find out that's not really where they need to be. Bleh. Words. Alright, so far the village of Outcast coming up fairly dry. Having perhaps forgotten where they were going, so you're going to see that end of the Hookshot Cave on relkin's side. Clear through, find a lot of items. I don't believe that shadyforce took the other end of this connection out, and relkin is not going to either. As it is a connection we have not seen the other end of, and could come here, and as we have just found Swamp Palace here. Hanging out in the fortune teller's house. No, we still have yet to find the dam that'll allow us to actually traverse this palace, though, but otherwise be completely clearable once we have a way of leveraging the water. As relkin is making their way into the Paradox Cave here. As we see and we did find a shield here on top of that cave, as we found the back of Skull Woods. I realize shadyforce, unfortunately, just realizing that they have yet to see Skull Woods, so they don't have any of the small keys to continue on to the back of this dungeon. Not that they could have really been able to do much in the back there. No fire source available. Alright, we're going to at least see what is in this first chest. That is a small key that would allow them to progress further back. I hope they're not going to take the pitfall here. I think they just realized they can't go any further there without any kind of fire source. And it's going to go ahead and continue. I'm going to go ahead and mirror across, as we have not yet seen this light world entrance. And we'll see what we've got here. We have Ganon's Tower. Alright, get your guesses in chat if there's going to be anything interesting in GT. Unfortunately, we won't be able to play the big key guessing. I don't know if we're really going to be able to play the big key guessing game in this one. But I will keep count, for the sake of it. So there's two things, but two places we've been able to check. We'll be able to at least see what is up here on the torch, just 5 rupees. shadyforce about to find out that they can't progress any further without the hammer they don't have, but do want the small key at least. Perhaps shadyforce just getting a little bit over, but perhaps just some things just catching them off guard with this entrance seed that we found ourselves in. This crossworld seed with randomized swords. So far, the only setting that's really shown itself is that we are playing entrance. Alright, we're going to see what's going on in this dark cave here. The dark house, just a whole lot of nothing. Actually, I believe that was the upgrade fairy. I'm not wanting to spend their money quite yet. Have not yet checked Zora on Shady side, as relkin has found Mini Moldorm Cave. And we'll see what items are in here, as relkin's going to take that nice bomb refill. Starting us off with a piece of heart, the fire shield, our first bow of the game. 10 sticks and 20 sticks, as shadyforce finds the tree man here in Dark Sanctuary. And relkin, having used this, picked up the information that we had there on that right side. Wherever this connector came out, I believe that was the back of Old Man. I could be mistaken.
Yes, it is the back of Old Man.
Alright, so shadyforce gonna go ahead and check what's here up on Mirror Ledge. Well, relkin's gonna make their way into the light world here. And continue on their swimming journey, and we have found the back of Turtle Rock! Unfortunately, getting sniped there by those lasers, trying to go for those laser skips. Alright, so relkin, having made that check, is back into the light world. Walking laser skip number 1 complete. That's a small key. relkin gonna go ahead and use the whirlpool here to make themselves into the northern side of the dark world. Perhaps we're finally gonna get a crystal check for Ganon. But first, relkin is gonna make their way up over here. to at least check out what our catfish has, and finding Thieves Town in the Dark World Potion Shop. As we're going to get to see there that there is pendants in Skullwood's Swamp Palace. And I didn't see the other 5-6 crystal.
Green pendant was at Swamp Palace, and I believe the red pendant was, or the red crystal was at Ice, I believe. Or sorry, no, it was at Pod.
So we got the Palace of Darkness, so we know where our 5-6 and pendant puzzles lie.
Shady Force is finding. Shady Force is finding all the keys on Laser Bridge.
Dear God!
Found all 4 of them.
That is it. That is something you don't see all. So something you can only see in entrances. We found all 4 keys on Laser Bridge. So that potentially tells us that we may have to be going through most of that dungeon backwards with the cane. It's an interesting bit of potential logic revealed, depending on where the rest of those Turtle Rock entrances fall.
That's definitely a first for me. I've never seen that before.
That's something you will only see in an entrance seed. Alright, Relkin, or Shady Force making their decisions here. Relkin making the way down south here. Gonna be able to make our way over to the pyramid and hopefully check how many crystals that we need to defeat Ganon. Meanwhile, Shady Force has found these down and is going to go ahead and clear out these first 4 chests. Perhaps we'll see if they dive deeper than Relkin did. They find the Book of Midora. And did you see that crystal count? I missed it.
I'll look at it here in a second here on the replay.
Alright, so we've got ourselves 7 crystals to struck Ganon. So we'll have to complete all these dungeons. Relkin waiting for that fairy to come back. Shady Force making their way through Thieves Town. See if anything else of note comes through here. Meanwhile, Relkin making their way across the bottom of Dark World here. As we found Sahasrala's house. 3 items here to be picked up by Relkin. And now we know that where he is, if that green pendant comes into play, is we finally find our first bottle of the seed on Relkin's side. Remember, Sick Kid is hanging out by Lumberjack. I do love the Clippy bunny sprite of the of the cursor. That is excellent.
Smith chain or blacksmith's house. There we go.
Now we found the blacksmiths there in the Light World Fairy Cave. Two important things in those 2 fairy caves. I see it's an interesting play that chat's kind of discussing with the decision by Relkin there to not want to go into Thieves Town without the hammer quite yet. You know, Relkin is going to see what is on the Dark World side of the 5 crystal fairy to find K45 with just a piece of heart, and they're out of there. We'll see where Relkin decides to go to next. Is going to go ahead and check this Light World entrance that they have not yet checked. We'll find it's nothing they're really that interested in. As Shady Force continues to clear their way through Thieves Town, we'll see what may be hiding inside here. Lots of interesting things to be seen throughout this seed. As we make our way, so we so far have discerned as a 7 crystals to defeat Ganon. Cross-world seed. Being the only things that have really put us out there. Alright, we're going to go ahead and continue this through here and see what we've got.
Well, there's a chicken house. There's Sasrala's house.
And we've already seen that on Shady Force's side. It wasn't a whole lot to be picked up over here. Meanwhile, Shady Force can continue deeper into Thieves Town. We'll see what items are hidden in the basement. No hammer available to Shady Force, so we'll see where that small key lies. Perhaps it is locking itself. That would be the main thing that Shady Force would be hoping for, to not have to make this redive to Thieves Town. And we'll see here if the key is locked away in the Maiden's cell. While Relkin is picking up the main extortionist of Hyrule and seeing what entrance cost them 110 rupees, and that's what you didn't want to see if you were Shadyforce, as we now have a hammer-locked item in Thieves' Town. And 110 rupees gave us the front door of Desert Palace.
So we still got a 50% chance, though, that we may not need to come back because he does have 2 of the dungeon items. So hopefully we'll get lucky and not see the map here on blind.
True that. Now, it would be interesting to see. I don't believe Relkin followed the right side exit of Desert Palace. So that'd be something that we have not yet seen. Looks like Relkin is going to go ahead and do that now as the scripted blind fight starts for Shadyforce. So far, well executed. Strike number 5 and number 6. Relkin can go ahead and check that right side exit we have not yet seen. Very, very clean blind the thief fight for Shadyforce. And we see 10 sticks, so I think Shadyforce is safe. We have not seen the map. And he's going to go ahead and click, and we'll find out that the right side exit of Desert Palace is Hype Cave. Alright, so with that, Relkin's going to go ahead and check out what's hanging out in the what is the entrance of Swamp Palace now. Shadyforce done with Thieves' Town and is now finally going to do their map check. But I do believe that we saw that we needed 7 crystals to defeat Ganon.
Yes, we did.
And that's a whole lot of nothing there in Swamp Palace. Now, Relkin is going to go ahead and make their way north from here. We have some entrances to check. The Bomb Shop entrance as well as the Fairy Fountain. Although the Fairy Fountain not accessible without the boots yet, which we will need to complete Desert Palace. If they want that pendant anyway. As we find my least favorite location in the game, that's Spike Cave, and we have yet to see the hammer. Keep that a note if that comes up there.
Chat's asking if it's fast Ganon or not. It is not fast Ganon. It's just a regular 7 crystal seed, and we checked that a little bit earlier.
I don't know. Don't know if that's how you actually check if it's fast or not. You can't know if it's fast Ganon until we jump into Ganon's cave and see if the palace is required.
That's probably true. I didn't think about that because I'm used to always seeing the hole on top of the pyramid, so...
And the hole in the pyramid is closed because we are playing entrance. The only way to really check that is if we collect all 7 crystals and drop in again, and he's like, wait, you didn't finish your goal, you numpty. Alright, now Relkin finally going to go ahead and see where the exit of Hookshot Cave will spit us out. And that's Bonk Rocks. There's a lot of interesting things to have to keep in consideration when we are playing history, like we are 45 minutes in. Shadyforce is going to see what's going on with the King of All Scams, get 3 beautiful artisanal bombs, and be disappointed with themselves, and walk away in shame. You know, Relkin is going to be making their clear here of this side of the Dark World. A whole lot to be seen. Shadyforce is going to go ahead and take the long trudge on the bottom. Alright, just a whole lot of nothing here, so try to pull everything into summation here. We have figured out that we are playing a cross-world seed with at least 7 crystals to do damage to Ganon. We have yet to see if we actually need to do Ganon's tower. Meanwhile, Relkin making their way back to the Palace of Darkness. Now that we have the bow, we're able to progress further into this dungeon. For at least 2 more checks, we'll see if the hammer shows themselves or some other progression item. As a reminder for the League, there are no hints available, which is unfortunate, being that we are playing entrance. But Relkin making really good use of the quick swap that is available to us. Ganon's tower is in the light world side of where the bumper cave would be on the bottom, which would be Death Mountain Ascent. I may have just been smart enough to be running an entrance tracker this entire time. Item number 1 there. Just a small key, and if it's another small key for Relkin, there's not a whole lot further can... That's a compass, so we'll be able to get a little bit more access here. Not as much as Relkin would have hoped, though. Would have hoped for small keys or hammer to pop up there. As Shady Force are going to make their way up the tower, and we'll get confirmation about the crystal count here. On Shady Force's side, you need 7 crystals to defeat Ganon. You get another small key. Relkin's going to go ahead and teleport back to the beginning. Alright, Relkin is going to go ahead and continue deeper into this dungeon and see what, if anything, the Palace of Darkness holds. While Shady Force is continuing to explore the Dark World, likely to make the visits to the Palace of Darkness areas that Relkin has already cleared out. The only thing really of note was the front entrance of Desert Palace, which we know is boots locked currently. And Relkin, despite having the big key, is deciding against doing the Dark Maze for now via the Hammerium. Finding a whole lot of small keys there on Relkin's side. Probably going to do that last if they're going to have to navigate that in the dark. We do know that the fire rod is hanging out on the desert ledge, but we have yet to see any way of getting ourselves to that desert palace ledge, as Relkin's making the way out of the darkness, having found a key and something else.
It was a cape. He found the cape there on that right hand side.
And there's a technique I've not yet seen before, but really nice executed by Shady Force to be able to check out the other side of this cave.
You got silver arrows there in Harmless Hellway.
All right, so we've got so we have found both of the bows here. Shady Force just kind of mulling over their thoughts. Where do they want to go? So we've got a bow in the Palace of Darkness and a bow in the mini Moldorm cave, and I forgot where Relkin found it. I honestly. You know, Relkin making the way through the Dark Maze is going to pick up the 2 items hidden within. That's right, the Dark World Shopping Mall is where Shady Force will have to find their way to, and right now that's, I think, logically lamp-locked at this point. That's one of the things that's kind of eluding us for answers to this seed is, where is this lamp that's honestly locking quite a bit of this? We'll see what other answers, where the other answers to this seed will be revealed. As we're still looking, the main thing we're looking to see now is the hammer. It'll give us access to a few other locations and allow us to clear more of the Palace of Darkness. As Shady Force realizes that they do not have the mitts to get the access to the frog. Alright, and we're going to make it... So Relkin's going to see what is here in the archery game. Fortunately, just some information. Shady Force is going to go ahead and mirror over and finally get our first check of the other side of the race game. And that is that oddball cave. I don't think Shady Force really knows what to do with it at this point, but Relkin knows it's nothing that we're really interested in. Because he still needs to make his way over to Alec Baldwin's digging game, and that's where Relkin's heading to next. And we're gonna get almost sync digging games at this point. And between 1 and 30 digs is where it's gonna have Alec Baldwin's here. 11, 12, 13... 16 digs to just get 20 rupees. Relkin's gonna go ahead and grab this rock and take the jump out.
Ain't grabbed the frog yet. Don't have the mitts.
But Relkin found the mitts somewhere. I missed it.
Or die.
Relkin picked up that rock, and I'm honestly not sure where it happens with so many things to keep through. Yeah, that's it. Zelda is on pulling out. It must have popped up in the Dark Maze of the Palace of Darkness. This lamp that we have not yet found yet is really logic locking a lot of this seed. Alright, so Relkin's going to see where this connector will take us. And that is the back of Skull Woods.
Turtle Rock. Is that Shady Force found the back of Turtle Rock there?
Where did you find the back of Turtle Rock there?
He was on the graveyard ledge. That's where he is at right now.
All right, and SG5 coming at bringing us another 78 people to watch this race. All right, so K45 is this entrance of Turtle Rock. A lot of this to be brought up. Just to recap where we are here, we have found ourselves an entrance seed, a Cross Worlds entrance seed. Not a whole lot else to be seen here. Relkin definitely having the item advantage and seems to be at least the advantage and the amount of entrance played. As I really feel Shady Force, perhaps feels a little bit frustrated with the things that they found. I mean, entrance is an entirely different play style once you really start getting into it. It's a lot more things to keep in track, as the puzzle is bigger than it used to be. But Shady Force has found a couple more important entrances that Relkin has not. And Shady Force has found them. One thing anecdotally to note is when Shady Force found the backside of the laser bridge entrance of Turtle Rock, it really opened up a lot of Turtle Rock exploration for them, as all 4 keys were on laser bridge.
Say Relkin's doing a heck of a job there on the Smith World Tour.
That is a world tour that I have not seen in quite a while. That's one of the things that's honestly enabled by the interesting way that all this log comes. And oh my, what a find that Smith chain is! We've got ourselves a flute. And there with that is Relkin's logical access to the Fire Rod, which has been on Desert Ledge this entire time. And that'll open up a lot of dungeons to Relkin. He knows where Ice Palace is. He'll be able to cut through that. We have found the back entrance to Skull Woods, though I don't think Relkin has been there yet. And where did I track the back of Skull Woods? We're going to serenade our swag deck as Shady Force makes her way through the bottom of number 5. And as GFE puts it well in chat, the logic was just kind of murdered there by Relkin. I mean, the lamp has honestly been holding a lot of the logic at hand, and we have yet to see it. Yeah. Oh, no, there it is. I found where I tracked the back entrance of Skull Woods is in the bottom of Bumper Cave. As also, Relkin did find the swamp at some point that I missed, with the Ether Medallion hidden down below. See, but a lot of the Titan's mitts are locking, are being locked behind fire, as well as connections that Relkin has taken to get to where he is were all lamp locked. As we find the hook, the mirror ledge here. Shady Force gonna go ahead and get extorted of 102 rupees for a whole lot of nothing, except for the front entrance of Desert. But we've already found the left side. It looks like Shady Force is going to go ahead and continue in this further as Relkin continues his world tour with his flute in hand. This flute this lamp actually been quite a linchpin in an entrance to something you don't often see. With just the way that how much dark connectors have been used, it really brings things up. And Relkin wisely going to go ahead down to 6. We'll be able to check all the entrances here they have not yet checked, as well as being able to pick up the Fire Rod, which we know is on the other end of where he is right now if he just mirrors over. And we'll see that the Bombos Medallion is what is locking the entrance to the Misery Mire door. But Relkin is going to go ahead and straight down and pick up the Fire Rod. We will still need to find the boots at some point, because that is locking Desert Palace. If that pendant comes into play, we don't know yet. That's still something you're really hoping to see. We're going to finally get our first check of Desert left, and that is a whole lot of nothing there. Right, in the back of... We're now going to see the back here of Desert Palace, which is just the brewery. Alright, and Shady Force has been spit out at Hype Cave. Okay, now I'm going to pass back into the Dark World, and we'll check the rest of these entrances here in the swamp area, starting out with the Mire Shed. Now we find some bomb refills. As Shady Force is going to go back over here and check the cave that they missed earlier.
Like we need bombos there for Mire.
He's in the wrong. Looking at the wrong side there. All right, so the front door of Desert Palace, nothing too interesting. Nice little bit of a mirror use there. I'm going to remember that. And here we have found Eastern Palace in the Mire area. Nice, so that will give some relkin something to do for quite a while, as they have the... And because he's just going to go ahead and cut through this dungeon. Meanwhile, Shady Force is going to pick up a key piece here. As with these this was one of the connections that relkin did to really meta game over to where he's at. So this will give Shady Force access to his bow. And that'll be able to get them towards the Titan's Mitch, which are darkness locked in the Palace of Darkness in the Dark Maze. That lamp, I'm really struggling to think in my mind, like, what entrance that lamp could be behind at this point. Like, just looking at where my entrances are tracked, I'm really struggling to see where we could have abandoned this lamp for so long. Just trying to keep an eye on the logic here. A lot of things to be kept in mind. The Shady Force says that's the back door of the old man cave. And that's a whole lot of nothing. I have to think of where was that bottle? That bottle was found somewhere that I think might have been also mirror locked or dark locked.
We've actually seen two bottles. We saw one bottle that they both picked up at Charlos's hut, and we saw one there on the lumberjack ledge earlier when they did the start of the game.
All right, that's right. I don't think any of us have been gone. If the sick kid is holding on to the lamp this whole time, it'll try to bring the logic back into place as Shady Force just kind of hitting their head against this logic. Relkin just honestly putting on a bit of a clinic on not only keeping the logic in check, but also breaking it in a way that is honestly coming up gangbusters for him. As right now, he's only really looking for the Cane of Samaria before he's in go mode. And the hammer, of course. Excuse me. So a lot of interesting things seen as there's the big key of Eastern Palace. Relkin clearing the way further and further through this dungeon, making the way towards another crystal here. I'm trying to think if there's any dungeons we have not yet found.
So far we have not found ice, or no, we did find ice. We haven't found Misery Mire, and we haven't found Swamp Palace. And there's our third bottle right there.
Swamp Palace was found in the Dark World, the Dark World fortune teller north of the village.
Oh, that's right. That is right.
And Shady Force realizing I need a hammer to clear through this. Honestly, I can't help but share in Shady Force's what feels like frustration at this point. Really not themselves being a fan of entrance, perhaps. Just it's different. If entrance is a completely different animal to the randomizer that you know and love when you get used to it. So many little things to keep in mind that you normally wouldn't think about. As Relkin, blinking, you miss this fight with silver arrows. These Armos don't stand a snowball's chance. Down they go. That's 3 bombs, and that is crystal number 2 for Relkin.
And that's actually his second of the 5-6 crystals that he has. So he's able to, if he ever gets a chance to get the fairy.
Yeah,
or no, we've actually seen that, if I remember right.
Well, the entrance itself could still be holding anything, but I don't believe. Trying to keep a hold of where the crystals lie. I think perhaps we may be tracked incorrectly.
It should be Pod, and Eastern was our 5 and 6.
I think the other 5, 6 is Pod, so I don't have access to that. But that entrance could be Misery Mire at this point. We have not yet seen it. As Relkin's going to go ahead and clear through more of the entrances here in the Mire area. And speaking of the Misery Mire we haven't found, oop, there it is. All right, so at this point, I believe we found all of our dungeons. Relkin going to go ahead and use this connector through the Quarreling Brothers house. As Shadyforce is going to use that connection that we've seen here. And I believe we're going to get a nice quick check here of this to find just fairies in that ledge. Alright, so Shadyforce is going to go ahead and drop through and continue their way through. Relkin checking off some of these dark entrances. Seeing if there's anything of note for them there, and we'll find this other side of the is going to go ahead and bounce their way through. This is actually their first dip here into that Super Bunny cave. What I already know is we don't need to go through it here. Meanwhile, Shadyforce is going to go ahead and go ahead and continue clearing through more of this left side of the mountain. A little bit of swag bombing there from Relkin, and we'll be able to use his mitts that he's found in the darkness of that palace of their so named, be able to check the rest of this right side of Dark World Death Mountain. 2 entrances here he can check. We still haven't really found our way up to the top of the mountain. So actually, we do have access, just no one has actually taken the time to check across the top side of the mountain.
Yeah, we just found a Gina's cave here too, as well, on the Death Mountain, Dark Death Mountain.
All right, so the Fart Cave checked off the list of item locations as we find a shovel. I heard you like fetch quests.
Sometimes I do. Depends on anything good ever comes out of it.
Well, we have access to 2 of them, as we did find the magic powder with the magic bat being in the Lost Woods. Now, no one has been going to make the turn in as we find the checkerboard cave of not a whole lot we're interested in there. Looks like Relkin going to go ahead and mirror across to check out this light world entrance that has not yet been checked. And then we'll likely make their way across the other side of the mountain to be able to see the top side. So we'll finally get our first access to the top side entrances of the mountain. But first, mulling over their options, they're going to head over to this area here in Kakarika Village as Shadyforce is clearing through the Tower of Hera. No fancy Hera-Posh shenanigans to be seen here, as Relkin's going to find out that this is now going to use his ability to go through this cave, now that he has the cave. But just go ahead and hook shots through it anyway, because who needs that? It takes the bounce, and we'll see where this spits him out, though we already know he's over there in the Agina, where the tree man would normally be living. And Relkin, disappointed with that result, is going to head and save and quit and see where they head to next. Meanwhile, Shadyforce up to their date with Molder Magic will make quick work of it with that nice sword pick up there. Go ahead and go out the old man cave. We'll find themselves in the dark village and making their way across to see where they're heading off to next.
Ooh, Shady takes a fall.
Given that Relkin there has the fire rod, imagine he may be making his way to the Skull Woods when he actually finds it here. But Relkin just found Swamp Palace and realizes, wait a minute, I can do this dungeon, as Moldorm is definitely giving Shadyforce a run for his money. Just a real jerk dorm calling it out there in chat. Meanwhile, Relkin go ahead and clearing the way. Lots of items to be found in Swamp Palace.
Unfortunately, that's what he's known for. Good old Troll Dorm.
Perhaps Gaming 6 is behind the times.
There he goes. There he goes.
And down goes Moldorm. And there's the bombs, and there is crystal number 2 for shadyforce.
Relkin had a very quick Swamp Palace check there. Nothing important there in that first chest, so couldn't go any farther.
That's unfortunate. Just we're finally going to see our check of the Curiosity Shop just to find a whole lot of nothing.
I don't know about you, but that's always one house I forget about in the Dark World.
And something you're just no reason being anywhere near, and of course, that's the one time you need it. Alright, and shadyforce going to go ahead and clear through the rest of this left side mountain. Relkin making their way across there. Realizing now that they have a fire source and there is an item locked in the basement here of the Tower of Hera. So while shadyforce gets their coffee break, Relkin's going to go ahead and check off the locations over here that are accessible by mirror. Will find himself the he will find Laser Bridge on Relkin's side.
And this is where we found all 4 keys.
All 4 small keys. Oh, and shadyforce unfortunately realizing that they don't actually have found that fire source yet. The lamp, honestly, being a linchpin of logic, I think at this point we pretty much has to be on Sick Kid. Which both of runners have had a bottle for quite a while, and Sick Kid's back up in Lumberjack, perhaps both a bit, forgotten by runners, maybe Relkin just discerning the logic that they don't really need it. Meanwhile, shadyforce really being run for a loop here. I mean, if Relkin's keeping track of his sequence breaks, this could be a potential huge advantage. It looks like shadyforce is going to be the first one of our racers to make their way across the top, but first they're going to go ahead and check out the awful entrances on the left side of Dark Death Mountain. And there's our first of the Hyrule Castle connections that haven't been really explored. Like so we started out going through the seed, and now we're actually able to find the Hyrule Castle entrance of where they actually lead after the end of the game.
Yeah, Shady had to do an about face on that one because he probably forgot that we did escape to start the game. So
it's a very interesting bit of just having to keep things in mind. So not often you find yourself playing standard with cross-world entrance. As we'll find out that the right side of Hyrule Castle spit us out in that fairy fountain. Alright, shadyforce making the way through the south of the Dark World as Relkin is now back to Thieves Town. Thankfully then, without the hammer, we do know that there is no hammer item here in the... But Relkin just needs to go ahead and clear this up for the crystal's sake.
Shady's checking out Bombo's tablet, so hopefully that's got something good for us here.
Something to keep in mind is we're still looking for the hammer, still looking for the Cane of Samaria. Pray to the gods, or pray to the goddesses, and they drop us just 20 rupees. shadyforce now gonna, I think, make their first visit to look at the desert ledge and see the fire rod up there. I think now they're gonna go ahead and just open this door. Take a look, it's in a book. This would have been Desert Palace. Unfortunately, it's a whole lot of nothing this time. So this being a one-way trip for them, they will have to save and quit afterward. As Relkin's just kind of quickly tearing their way through Thieves Town here. And that probably may add to the frustration that I would imagine shadyforce is feeling at this point. As now realizing they are locked into this location and will have to save and quit out.
Hopefully, shadyforce will be able to get that flute to get him able out of that. Something should happen again, which was we found that back at with the Smith turn-in.
I mean, and without the lamp, I mean, technically, getting access to that blacksmith is very much out of logic until being that the Titansmiths are in the dark maze of the Palace of Darkness. And perhaps shadyforce is at least in the area to eventually visit the sick kid, which I think we've discerned at this point must be the lamp location. Not often you see that key bridge. That was an interesting... I still one thing I probably won't forget for a while on this seed. How rare it is to see all 4 keys on that laser bridge. Meanwhile, Shadyforce is going to go ahead and start clearing through the Skull Woods entrances. As relkin continues to tear their way through Thieves Town. Shadyforce back into the light world here. I think perhaps thinking they overlooked something. Oh yes, that magic bat that's been available for quite some time. How dare you awaken me from my slumber? Today I shall curse thee with... love.
That sounds like a very mean curse, getting loved.
I mean, it sometimes can blind you to poor things. As a reminder, the sick kid is in the lumberjack house, and at this point we're kind of discerning that's with the lamp, which is locking a fair amount of this scene, even an entrance, giving how the way that the dark connectors have really given birth to a lot of the map. As Shadyforce is now going to unravel the maze that is Skull Woods in entrance. Meanwhile, relkin taking down Blind the Thief, picking up crystal number 3. All right, and as these Gibdos are giving the Shadyforce a run for their money, I very much do not like this room.
Between those Gibdos and the Wall Master, yeah, it'd be a lot easier if we had the King of Samaria on that one.
I do believe that was a room created for frustration, but now he's going to go ahead and take the Wall Master taxi, as he has just found the final of the fetch quests there. As now the mushroom has been found in Skull Woods. Alright, and meanwhile Shadyforce continues to clear their way through. relkin heading up to the north side here. We'll be able to check a few more of these entrances that they have not yet been to as Shadyforce check.
So this will lead him into Ganon's Tower, if I remember correctly.
The Dark World side is Skull Woods, and the Light World side is Ganon's Tower.
Yep, I had them mixed up there.
So two nice entrances here. All right, so relkin will be able to make this location check and take down the boss as they have the fire rod. And picking up that second key will be convenient. Won't have to deal with the drop down. Now can just completely disregard it as Shadyforce is into the pinball room. As a reminder, the advanced logic which this is played under, this could have been not a key, but this time it was. And it'll allow Shadyforce to continue deep further on into the dungeon as relkin is on past the Gibdos and moving their way back towards the Moth. We'll have to keep an eye on relkin's health here.
That green male with only 8 hearts, that's gonna be a rough moth fight.
It will be tough.
But again, he does have tempered sword, so... Oh, he's going with the cape.
And that's actually a really nice bit of... Really nice bit of things there. And there we have found it! Those are the boots! On Pendant Moth. So if the pedestal is something, which at this point, can it be? I have actually to double check where the pendants have fallen.
Our pendants were Desert, Swamp, and Skull Woods.
So yeah, the King of Samaria, definitely on the table for that. As relkin is now into Ganon's Tower, gonna go ahead and be able to pick up this fiver that's up on the torch. And we'll be able to check the 2 chests on the right side, which are a whole lot of nothing here. The King of Samaria lost Ganon's Tower at this point. Alright, so Shadyforce is in the Palace of Darkness now. With that bow that they've picked up, they will be able to get access to the Titan's Midst if they're able to navigate that maze in the dark, which at this caliber, you imagine they should be able to.
And if he completes it, he's going to get quite a few things. He's going to pick up his silver arrows, the mitts.
The mitts are the big key here. The mitts will give him access to his fire and he'll continue on. Now, I hope to see a mirror by Relkin, and we'll see if the sick kid, if we're going to get a confirmation on sick kid, if this was the crux of the logic this whole time. And that's just a sword.
Wow, the fourth sword.
So that's gold sword for Relkin. The lamp's still very much at large, and I'm really struggling in my small mind to be able to figure out where that lamp has been hiding all this time. Perhaps some people do this a bit more than I do have a better idea. Shadyforce now picked up their small key. We'll be able to continue deeper into this dungeon. Relkin heading back towards the Skull Woods area. Going to go ahead and clear out these entrances, find the rest of the items for Skull Woods. Will just be the mushroom. The butter in bed. That's an interesting proposition. Sounds a little sticky. Alright, continuing on through here. Relkin can go ahead and just cut through this room of the Gibdos. We'll still have to be mindful of those wall masters as Shadyforce is continuing to clear through there here. If you want to know more about this, check out ALTTPR League.com. If you want to find out all about the Link to the Past Randomizer League, lots of races here, 64 teams of 3 runners each facing off for glory, and a lot of fun here throughout this, as we're going to see a hammer yump there from Shadyforce. So if you want to get interested, please check out ALTTPRleague.com to find out all more about this. Check out speedgaming.org/schedule to see where all the races are going to fall. Still lots happening today if you love Link to the Past Randomizer as much as I do. As we're going to see the Heart Curse by the bat onto Relkin. Shadyforce now picking up their Titan's Mitts in the darkness. Will give them more access to the rest of this map and really help bring them back, hopefully, into some kind of shape to complete this seed. Relkin continuing on their, honestly, cutting through of this map really well. I don't honestly put it, like, being able to keep the logic in track, and as much as Relkin has broken it up, is honestly proven to look really good for him.
Yeah, and Relkin just turned into mushroom, so we're going to see our second to last fetch quest here.
I've been realizing he had not checked the entrance here, and that is just the front of the pub. Relkin now going to make their way up towards Kakariko Village as the potion shop is up in the top of the top of the Lost Woods.
That was definitely an interesting hiding spot for the bar entrance. I didn't know we had gone back to Prohibition time and we had to hide the entrance to bars, so.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Relkin picking up the apples to take a little bit of a nice hit.
Oh, I think we got a ped check here.
And here we go. Will the pendant that he cleared come in even bigger? The Key to Samaria not to be denied here, as it's a rupee hoard. Yeah! No. Rest in peace, pedestal. We hardly knew ye. But Relkin will be able to make their way over and check out what the reward for this mushroom turn-in was. Such a long path to get through there. Alright, and we'll see what this long walk came into as we find the bug net. And Relkin going in and checking through their bottles to see if there's anything that they... We'll go ahead and pick up a blue potion here. And has decided to switch out their red potion for a blue. Given the amount of money that Relkin has, that was a bit of a net gain, as Relkin now mulling over their options left for them now. I think at this point there are some, let's see here. He has Swamp Palace available to him. No access any further than what he's already checked. The Hammer and Cane still very much at large. What's calling out to me is there are quite a few locations in Ice Palace that are available to Relkin at this point.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest, is you make your way to Ice Palace. I mean, even though you can't complete it without the hammer, at least you
Perhaps the
hopefully...
hammer's inside.
Yeah, well, with the new icebreaker glitch, but then again, you need the cane of Samaria for that, so you're only limited by probably the first half of the dungeon.
And he is at least going to pick up the purple chest here, which we have not yet seen the turn in for. And as he runs away across here, I don't believe Relkin has found their way to Cave 5 yet. We'll give him another access. We'll give him another Turtle Rock entrance, but not really. It won't be able to give him access to a whole lot without that. It's kind of an interesting thing to keep track of where all this logic lies. How much of Ice Palace is available? I mean, yes, Ice Palace is out of logic because we're still looking for that linchpin lamp. At this point, I'm really struggling to figure out where that darn thing has been all this time. But at this point, that'd be one thing that'd be calling out to me on Relkin's side is just maybe think, I mean, I don't know where the logic's at, but that could be something. Harrow Basement is available. That's one location that Relkin hasn't gone back to. Perhaps, maybe not remembering where the items fell in there. Shady Force now making the way back up the mountain, clearing up these dark entrances. I didn't actually see where he went into on the bottom of the mountain. Was there anything of note?
For Relkin, no.
I was looking at the bottom of Dark Death Mountain. All right, so Shady Force gonna go ahead and check up this other tablet. We'll go ahead and find the Bombos Medallion. We'll give them access to the Mire door now. Meanwhile, we're gonna see what is inside the Tower of Hera. There's an archery game. Nothing all that interesting. Shady Force ran a mulling over their options here, realizing they can't go any further here. I wonder if the person in chat pointing out, perhaps maybe he didn't realize he even picked up the bits, and as we strike the earth there is the Cane of Samaria for Relkin. And that's gotta be something that'll get them further in the siege, as now Misery Mire and Turtle Rock have now opened up for Relkin.
They can now complete Turtle Rock. I mean, we haven't seen the pennant medallion, or the medallion yet for Turtle Rock, but they can complete that and Mire, so...
I mean, there's nothing stopping Relkin from killing the boss in Turtle Rock, because we know where the entrance is to the laser bridge. So we can just go through the laser bridge entrance to just go straight to the boss. But it will give him access to all the rest of the items within the dungeon with that cane, depending on on which door he routes through, because we have not yet seen the big key to my knowledge. So it has to be in the front, though it is accessible via that right side entrance, which is at K45.
Chad is asking where they found the shovel. The shovel was there in Agina's cave.
And Agina's cave was somewhere... I believe that. Oh wait, no. Gina's Cave was on the right side of Light World Death Mountain. In the one that's behind the rocks, I do believe. All right, so Shady Force is into Ice Palace with their Bombos medal. Go ahead and clear through here. Perhaps if the hammer shows up here, this might be the last bit of our scene here.
Yeah, because the hammer, other than the medallion. Hammer's really about the only thing we need now for go mode, so...
I mean, there's no at this point, the hammer is really the only thing that we're looking for, because we've found every dungeon entrance point, or at least access to the bosses. Because there's no guarantee that we actually need the Turtle Rock, any of the entrances up by near Turtle Rock, because we've already found all the dungeons and everything of import.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I'm so used to seeing regular, I'm not used to this cross world, I always keep forgetting that our regular entrances are not our regular entrances, so...
Yeah, it's a whole other ball game, but once you get used to it, honestly, I think If you really enjoy the randomizer as it is, when you throw in the crossed entrances, the cross-world entrances here, it really brings a whole nother array to the puzzle. When you get used to it, honestly, it's hard to want to go back to just playing regular if you're more of a puzzle fan like I am. As Relkin finds out, well, that's where the 5/6 crystals will lead you to. The left side exit of Turtle Rock. If you're Relkin, I think he's gonna go ahead and check over he's getting over this direction. He's gonna head and hookshot across. I think he's going straight for the laser bridge entrance. And he's gonna use the cane to head and clear through there. Just a well executed Ice Palace bomb jump there. But Rogan is just still has other things on his mind. Picking up that mirror, see where they're heading off to here. As shadyforce continues through Ice Palace. Oh, it looks like Relkin, perhaps forgetting where the back entrance is, deciding that instead he wants to use the Cave 45 entrance to continue the dungeon. And we're gonna burn down these freezors here. But there came no big key yet to be found, but Relkin can continue to clear the more dungeon that shadyforce did not have access to when he went through it the first time. Alright, so shadyforce continuing to clear his way through Ice Palace, while Relkin making the way to the uncharted areas of the Turtle Rock here. Shadyforce continuing on, having to make sure he doesn't head towards places that are locked away by the hammer. Doing a really interesting bit of routing. Ice Palace routing is something that is really interesting to keep in mind. Be able to pull all the, what's the best way to get through this dungeon that's just kind of a mess.
Oh yeah, especially when you don't have that hammer where you're so used to going one way and then all of a sudden you can't.
All right, and Relkin, unfortunately, the stream seems to have locked up for just a moment, and we're going to continue on. Hope he doesn't there. He's pulled through here. Not sure if he found that hammer in that door, but we'll see perhaps the next time that they whenever they open up their inventory, if they did find that hammer. But I'd imagine probably not if he's continuing to check things here. Though he is still looking for the big key, which we'd imagine has to be in one of these two chests at this point.
I have no hammer.
Alright, so that's confirmation that we have not yet found the hammer, and we also have not found the big key. There's the big key of Ice Palace for shadyforce. Relkin making their cape there. There's a heart container, and I imagine this would be the big... Nope, he must have found the big key. No, he has not. He had to have found the Turtle big key in the chest that we couldn't see. And it looks like now Relkin is just going to go ahead and get confirmation of where this entrance is. I'd imagine this is probably a connector that'll spit him out at the... Oh, that'll spit him out on that connection we haven't yet found. But I imagine that this connection will probably lead him to the area that we have to mirror for. Actually, that's the library. So I still remember seeing the connection that spits him out. That would spit him out. Where he needs to finish where he needs to get up to where you mirror over for that item in Death Mountain. I mean, that's all those are probably self-contained right now on the top of Death Mountain.
Now it looks like he's going to go back and finish up Turtle Rock. He's heading to Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, he's going to make this entrance. Good use of this. Of just routing his way through this monstrosity of a seed. Shout outs to these runners. If you haven't already given these guys a follow, putting on quite a show for here is an hour and a half in to be able to discern this much of what has honestly been a logically interesting seed to follow. I mean, the lamp blocking away a lot, and we haven't yet seen it, though. Most runners not really worried about the lamp, but may have held shadyforce back just a little bit. He must have found the bee. I have a feeling on Relkin's side, he probably found the bee and may have found, and maybe lacking the compass or something, going for the boss and hoping that the item isn't in the back here. Because we haven't seen the Crystal Roller Room yet. Just not quite getting that quick kill on the first phase of Trinex, but clearing his way through otherwise. Shadyforce continuing on through Ice Palace, and down goes Trinex, giving Crystal number 4 to Relkin at this point. And that, whoa! The hammer in the big chest of Ice Palace.
Oh, that
is
disgusting. That is extreme.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I hopefully Relkin's going to go back and get that sometime soon, but being the fact that he's just kind of looks like he's on crystal mode right now.
Well, I mean, Ice Palace is on his list of things to clear out. Can't deal with Swamp Palace. Could go back for the Misery Mire that he has yet to cover. Does have access to the Cane of Samaria. It looks like Relkin is going to go ahead and back into this entrance here to find that he's going to get...
I thought Relkin...
find the hammer in here.
Honestly, I thought Relkin had checked all of our chests while he was here.
He had not gone through a Crystal Roller Room, which is where he's heading to now. Once he gets through this maze here. The boots off, so just to get a kind of a grip of where some of these bad logics were in. The Titansmiths were in the dark maze of Palace of Darkness, and we have yet to find the lamp at this point. And that's the map there in that final chest. Perhaps just not having checked their map. Check for the map. The hammer being in the big chest of Ice Palace is honestly just not okay.
No, it's definitely not, especially for as deep as it is in Ice Palace, and without the hammer, I mean, it's a big gamble. Do you do it or do you not do it?
Relkin continuing back into the mire area. Shadyforce now going to go ahead and finish out the rest of these checks in Ice Palace now that he has the hammer. Relkin going to go ahead and head into Misery Mire, which is technically lamp locked, but I mean, there's a chance that the lamp could be in the... It can't really be in the front. Just something I just can't seem to piece together here. But that's why I'm commenting, and these guys are running this seed. Because, my god, I don't know where I'd be at this point.
Well, I know where I'd be at. I'd still probably be on escape right now, at this rate.
I now, Shadyforce does have access to, has been given access to Swamp Palace, which is a dungeon with lots of items. There is no connector to the mire area. The only way in is to mirror from the flute. So at this point, we know where everything we need to finish the seed is. It's just a matter of which runner will piece the puzzle together first. And at this point, my money's probably on Relkin.
Well, Myers definitely got mired today, so they're being in that spike chest.
Still needs to find the other item within this dungeon. Because he's still looking for the hammer. We know it's in the big chest of Ice Palace. Now, Shadyforce finishing out this rather tough to route Ice Palace. I do not blame Relkin for this play, though, going through the mire check before going to Ice Palace. And finding a second item there, so he's going to go ahead and not have to deal with the cutscene.
Yeah, and on Shadyforce's side, just found both chests were full of bombs, so...
Yeah, the flute is on Blacksmith, and the mids are lamp locked. So the question is, what will it take to point Shadyforce to grabbing that Blacksmith? It looks like with the hammer, though, Shady Force can just go ahead and finish out Palace of Darkness. Can't blame them for just going ahead and it's like, okay, I've got this done. I'm really close. Let's just knock out this crystal and be done with it. Relkin making their way through the dark rooms here of Misery Mire. A little bit of a tough time with that spike trap, but Shady Force can make their way over to the Helmasaur King. You know, Relkin wanting to make their way to the date with the eyeballs. Alright, managed to get that crystal flipped. Those of us asking, right now, the settings of this seed are Crossworld's entrance, 7 crystals to hurt Ganon. Whether it's defeat Ganon, we don't know. Alright, as the cutscene plays for Shady Force, Relkin is on the way to poke a bunch of eyeballs. Go ahead and make that fairy. We know we're on the normal settings here. With that standard opening really throwing them over there.
Extremely quick here. Fight here on Relkin's side.
It's a whole lot of bullseyes for Relkin. That's the map. And Crystal number 5. Just Swamp Palace and Ice Palace between them and the end. Excuse me, this is Crystal number 4. Counting is difficult. Don't do this at home, kids.
Oh, that's his 5th crystal he's got.
He's 5. I have no idea what's going on at this point. So I think if you're looking at the cracker, maybe Ice Palace is where you want to deal with. Meanwhile, shout outs to Shady Force for clearing out this dark turtle room. Alright, so Relkin gonna go ahead and take flight, is back to number 1, back on the mountain. Perhaps now heading over to check the 2 entrances. He has not checked the Tower of Hera entrance and has not checked the tablet here. And meanwhile, the Helmasaur King is down on Shady Force's side. And Relkin is going to go ahead and check these 2 top entrance, the top entrance and this item. Unfortunately, not what he's looking for. We'll need to make their way to Ice Palace finish as we find Uncle Bombs on the Helmasaur King. As Relkin prays to the goddesses and will not get what they want. But we'll get the Bombos medallion. Does open up the Misery Mire entrance, which I don't think Shady Force opened.
Oh, he has not.
Because he has not yet found the flute. Shady Force has a lot to take into logic here. He really needs to grab the blacksmith at this point. It's the main thing that will give Shady Force access to a lot of the rest of this game. You know, Relkin is going to go ahead and check the Spike Cave door. He's going to find Hyrule Castle.
Shady Force, unfortunately, didn't take his portal, and now he's saving and quitting. Was kind of hoping he was going to take that and go down and get the blacksmith.
I mean, Shady Force with the hammer does have access to a few things. We'll see what they decide to do with that hammer access. Looks like they're at least going to head towards the number 4 portal. And we'll be making our way into the Dark World, and for what is the answer, Relkin is going to go ahead and Bombos Medallion to open up Misery Mire. And it feels like Relkin really wants to avoid this hammerless Ice Palace dip, but Ice Palace is the key for him, unfortunately. And with that Bombos Medal, it does kind of help put logic back to Ice Palace, but I don't know if logic really stops me at this point if I'm really trying to figure out where in God's name is the hammer. Meanwhile, we're going to get a Spike Cave check from Shady Force. It's just a fairy fountain for all that fanfare.
Oh, it's going to be close.
Oh! It was realized he had made a mistake and was going for the potion. Unfortunately, not in time. That cursor blue screens and Relkin's off to Ice Palace. Alright, so with this, I don't know. I don't know if Shady Force would want to try that one again. But I think at this point they may have committed to the play, really hoping that that's where something that they need is. I think with Relkin making their way up towards the hammer, this may just about nail out Shady Force's chances of coming out in first place, barring a miracle or an unfortunate bit of tech issues that I'm really hoping we don't see from either of these runners. I mean, this seems logic really put a lot of, like, could even put experienced players through the ringer with just having to make use of these the dark connectors that would come up clutch. And honest to God, we still don't know where this lamp is. All right, so shadyforce now going to make their way through Spike Cave again. No accident of vulnerability this time. We'll have to make use of the red potion they have. All right, takes a health refill. I think should have enough health to do what they need to do here. Especially we're given that hook shot there. All right, opening up that, and it's all that trouble for 20 rupees shows his disgust. And it looks like relkin's going for the icebreaker. I have no idea how he does that. God, that is disgusting.
Yeah, I know, I've seen people do it. I've seen them set it up. I've seen the tutorial for it, but I personally have not had the luck of actually doing it myself. So, wow.
There's just so much of this. I mean, here we are 30 years later, still pulling this video game apart. It's just that not quite being able to hit that freezer there. shadyforce is going to go ahead and do this mushroom turn, and unfortunately they're on the wrong fetch quest.
Unfortunately, he's going to get the bug net for his efforts.
And I don't remember where that shovel actually was that was locking the cane.
Shovel was at Gina's cave.
That's right, and Nagina's cave is somewhere out there.
That it is.
Alright, relkin continuing their clear through Ice Palace. shadyforce finally making their entrance. Has found the Mimic Cave.
I believe this is a new check for us. I don't think we've seen this one yet.
I believe relkin has been up here. And it's just a fairy with a bottle. Alright, relkin setting up the Ice Palace bomb jump. Looks to be about true in that one positioning. That'll do it. Alright, clearing their way through Ice Palace. shadyforce back into the old man cave. Is in the Kakariko village, and one can really hope that he is going the wrong direction for where we want. See what shadyforce. I think shadyforce is now, seeing that he has a mirror in hand, probably heading up for Sick Kid at this point. Judging by his equipment and his direction of travel, unfortunately, not the answer that he's looking for. Really, the main thing holding back shadyforce is he needs to bring that dwarf home. And relkin bomb jumping across this, unfortunately, will lead him away from where he needs to. That big chest is the answer that he's looking for. The Ice Palace big chest is holding onto the hammer, and relkin just push themselves away from it, so we'll end up slowing them down in the long run.
I believe he's got to find the big key, and I believe that's down here in Iced Tea.
I thought he already had that. The big key was right side, and he icebreakered for it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, chat's already telling us he's got it.
So I guess he just wanted to make that check first before he made his way over to the big chest. Because if the hammer was there, he would have had to even longer around. But now he can just hook shot it across, push that block out of the way, and at 1 hour 46 minutes, relkin has found his way into go mode. What a crazy bit of logic that this seed has drug us through. With that, relkin now only has the Palace of Darkness left to complete, and then they're off to either complete Ganon's tower or head further.
Yeah, because we never did check the sign outside of Ganon's Tower, the only sign that we've seen is at the pyramid. And as I say that, Shady Force just found Blue Mail and the big key there in the Stalfos room of Ganon's Tower.
All right, so we do know where the big key is in Ganon's Tower. So Shady Force, unfortunately, making the wrong call. There's a whole junk here in Ganon's Tower, but I mean, given his item loadout, I can't blame him for this play at all.
For the guessing game that we didn't start, if you did pick number 5, you did win. So,
congratulations, you've won. How about a mystery seed after this? Let's go.
How about we just give him this seed?
Well, they'd already have the answers, then it wouldn't be as fun.
So that is true.
Perhaps that sheep's head. How about you just go ahead and we'll somehow send you the seed, and you can find where the lamp was. Okay.
If I had to put my money on it, I would say it's got to be in Swamp Palace. That's about the only thing of any logic where...
Your prize is homework. Congratulations.
Now, if I told that to my students that their prize was homework, I would get booed and hissed at the entire time. So, oh, man.
All right, and relkin is continuing on. Just has to take care of the Helmosaur King, and potentially can just drop straight to Ganon. And then imagine... If I'm relkin, I'm just gonna take the gamble that it's fast Ganon and not defeat. There's no reason to not at least take that gamble, because all you have to do is save and quit away. Because the worst things that happens is that you find Ganon, you drop into Ganon, it's like, you haven't finished it. Like, okay, I'll just go take care of Ganon's Tower real quick, no problem. Meanwhile, Shady Force continues to clear their way through Ganon's Tower. No boots, so he'll bonk around this. All right, we're continuing through here. Just a little bit of darkness here for relkin, but has the torch, so won't have to deal with that. Won't have to deal with the turtle room in the dark. Meanwhile, Shady Force bombing their way across here. No access to bonking. We'll go ahead and visit our old pal Bob. I'm going to turn him into a fairy and get a little bit of health. There's a heart container dropping down, and they're on the way to Ice Armos. Relkin now taking care of the Helmosaur King, and now has just potentially Ganon up ahead of them. Meanwhile, that is 6 dead Armos for Shady Force's side. Really wants it. Slide north, let me in. Heart container, heart piece, and $20. No lamp to be found here, and unfortunately none of the answers that Shady Force is looking for. We'll go ahead and it looks like making the way over to the big chest. And we'll see what's inside. There's the vanilla red mail. Alright, and with that, Relkin is running over to face Ganon. Will this be the end of the seed, or is there a tower climb in Relkin's future? Now's the time. And what's he got to say? You cannot defeat me until you finish your goal. All right, we're climbing Ganon's Tower.
At least he told us right away instead of us having to actually climb up the mountain one more time.
I mean, it is good to know that it's right away as opposed to waiting until phase 3 to let us know. So now Relkin now needs to run over to Ganon's Tower, and we'll get, if they had left side, we'll find that key rather quickly and can immediately start that climb. You know, looks like Shady Force is finally making their way towards what is the big answer of this seed. Now making the decision that frog is your way out of danger.
I think at this point he just doesn't realize that.
Oh well, he has.
Well, actually,
nobody's checked hammer pegs. I don't blame him for this. This is an okay play.
I was going to say maybe he's at the point where he just doesn't realize that he has the gloves by now, but since he just picked up those rocks, he knows he has it, so.
All right, and there's the final hammer fell. We'll see what's the answer to the hammer pegs. Oh, that's the mire shed. All right, there's the big key for Relkin. We'll finish the game on Blue Mail. Not going to go to the big chest as Wario now making their way over through the rest of this here. All right, now it's just a gauntlet climb here for Relkin here.
All right, come on, Shady.
Manipulating those mimics, and Vince still not. Perhaps thinking there's still something down there for him. I think I thought Shadyforce already checked this connector, and I think just realizing he already did.
Yeah, he's already done race game and all that.
I think just now rechecking some entrances, perhaps having lost track of where they were. Unfortunately, takes a mirror bonk, and with that, feeling the frustration now, rechecking some entrance. Unfortunately, pulling them away from the enemy, and if they follow this connector, that's going to send them pull further away. Though I can't help but wonder, if I'm thinking back to where things are, I don't believe Shadyforce actually checked the Smith location, which is the Light World Ferry south of Eastern. I think he checked the Dark World side and found Sahasrara, but I don't believe he actually checked the Light World side. Now that I'm really running it through my memory bank. The Smith turn-in is south of Eastern in that ferry fountain. But I think there's still some entrances here that Shadyforce hasn't checked. And this here is one of them. As we get the nice little bit of satisfying tricks there in the Ganon's Tower. Relkin continuing their climb. Quick kill number 2. Dashing the way up. Shadyforce checking more of the entrances here in the Dark Death Mountain. Relkin continuing, just blazing the way up to the top of the tower. Nothing standing in his way. And there's the shovel, which will give Shadyforce access to the Kingdom of Samaria. So that's one thing that, Shadyforce definitely needed to do. Like, if he wanted to finish the seed, he would have had to get the shovel to get that cane. So it is technically a correct play, but not the play that's locking more of the lot. Because he would need that cane to be able to complete Misery Mire. Now continuing to move their way through the Light World Mountain as Relkin blazing their way up to the top of the tower. There goes Moldorm's last breath. Will hookshot across once the chest spawns here, leaving Moldorm's last possessions behind, and he's heading his way over to his geometry test. Relkin is fully stocked on blue potions in his bottle, I do believe, and perhaps has a fairy if he found bottle number 4. I do believe he has at least 3. So Relkin is very much set up.
Yeah, he should have 3 if I can remember correctly.
And there's a 2-shot. And there's a 1. That's 2-1. We're 3 hits left to go. And that's at least 4. I don't know if it was 5. That was awfully close. And it was 6. So that's 2-1-1-2. Really well executed geometry test, and now it's time for Relkin's date with the big pig. Will ride the swag duck to the hole in the pyramid, which is not where he needs to go. He needs to go back over to the other part of this. I do believe that's Cackwell that we're just not getting to play with.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing Kakariko well.
So Ganon's Tower locking Cackwell, more importantly, locking into the seed. Relkin now fly to number 3, now needs to drop into his date with the big pig.
since we haven't seen Cackwell, maybe that's where our lamp is at.
I don't know. I mean, could be GT locked. It's really tough.
That'd be horrible if it was, but.
All right, don't stand so close to me. Back off, buddy. All right, the name of the big pig has started with relkin blazing their way through phase 1, taking a hit there accidentally. Should be able to set themselves up for these nice poke strats to quickly get them out of phase 2. That should do it. Nice, just dipping right through those fireballs. Really well executed on relkin's side. All right, and now begins the teleport game. Where Ganon, please hold still. There's strike number 1. Now we're finally finding the connections on the right side of Dark Death Mountain. By the way, on the left side of your screen here. There's strike number 2. Strike number 3 by relkin. Just one more. We're into the final phase here. And there it is. Silvers, my true weakness. All right, go ahead and manipulating Ganon. That's a setup for at least a double, and that's actually triple. And that's the end of the big pig. As the fanfare starts, just a 1x3 bridge is all that separates relkin, and victory for Team I Like Big Boots. Get your GGs in chat here, and I am happy to place the SRL time of 1 hour, 57 minutes, and 56 seconds. GG to relkin. What a seed we had.
No kidding. Wow. After all of that, just trying to find everything, going this way, going that way, the crazy dip into Ice Palace to find our Go Mode hammer. Jiminy Christmas.
I mean, just so much of that logic locked away by the lamp that we just never found. I think at this point it's probably locked away in Swamp Palace, as we had access to that hammer in Ice Palace for actually quite a while. When you really break it down, I mean, all we really needed was the hook shot to get access to where that hammer location was. So much of that being locked away, it's just kind of it was an interesting bit of logic. We joined by just a moment. He did agree to come in for the interview.
Let's say while relkin was defeating Ganon, Shadyforce did take a look at the sign outside of Ganon's tower, and it did say needed 5 crystals to get into that, so he was one shy of that.
All right. We should be joined here as Shadyforce continues to clear their way through here. Should hopefully be joined by relkin in just a moment, but what do you think of that seed ban, man?
It was definitely a rough one. I guess that's what I get for asking for something nice for all these runners at the beginning of the match. Definitely makes your head kind of spin when you got to keep track of not only the items that you need just to defeat the game, but just figuring out when you need to be in the light world to the dark world. Wow, this is one that if you're not used to it, you could probably easily spend 4 hours on this seed and be lucky enough to only have like 2 or 3 crystals. So,
all right, and with that, we have now been joined by relkin in the interview booth. GG's to you.
Hey, thank you.
All right, and I can now say that indeed Shadyforce did decide to forfeit from the race. So relkin, what did you think of that mess?
I'm wondering what lamp was. That's what I think of that mess.
That's the question on all of our minds in chat for quite a while is, where is that lamp that honestly locked quite a bit of the logic there? When you really break that down. So what were you thinking when you found your way through that dark connector that led us over to the right? That led us over to the right side of Dark World.
Dark connector.
Well, like the back
right.
of the old man cave.
Right. Okay. Very convenient. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and start here whenever I get my move. So is right off the bat, back of old man exit.
I mean, at this point, I think I'm just about to discern that Swamp Palace is probably what holds on to the lamp. Just give me just a moment here. We've also been joined in the chat by shadyforce. GG's to you.
Hey, GG. GG, welcome.
So what were your thoughts on that seed, shadyforce?
Well, I would have taken literally any other mode than a cross-entrance shuffle. That was pretty much worst-case scenario for me. I'm very out of my depth with entrance shuffle, so it was kind of worst-case scenario. I didn't think I really ever had a chance. As soon as I saw the seed, as soon as I pressed R and L at the start of the game and I heard the beep, then I knew it was going to be a bad time.
I mean, and that was actually one of the nastier entrance sets I've ever seen, with just actually the lamp playing Pinnacle and honestly nobody finding it.
Yeah, well, I guess the fire rod was the important thing. The fire rod's kind of go mode or close to it, so I think the lamp is going to be buried somewhere and it's going to be not that important.
And when correct me if I'm wrong on this. You're a bit more of a high level player. I do believe that the lamp would have been required to get you into that right side of the dark world to get some of these things going, or at least, or just because of the way that the entrances were set up, as well as just giving you logical access to the Titan's mitts.
Yeah, I guess, but
Where were the flip? That would answer some question.
I think the
flippers were early. They were in Spiral Cave.
Right. Okay.
And I can't remember where both of the Spiral Cave entrances.
I have no idea. I can't remember anything.
Oh no! Wait, no, the Spiral Cave entrances are the Ruby Farm in Desert Side, and it spits you out at Desert Right. I mean, definitely just giving you more access to the. So with the flippers being accessible and then allowing you to swim over to get access to other areas, I mean, definitely. We had questioned whether you had realized how. Did you realize how when you get access to the Titan's Mitts, shadyforce?
No, actually, I didn't realize at the time. I picked up some items in the dark room and I actually forgot to check whether I picked up anything interesting. So I don't think the mitts would have unlocked all that much for me anyway. It doesn't unlock a whole lot in entrance. I was mostly interested in finding the hammer somewhere, but...
Well, you did find the hammer first by taking that gamble into Ice Palace. It wasn't until probably about 10 minutes later when it was pretty much about the only thing he had left open that relkin finally did check for the hammer there in Ice Palace.
And that does lead me to a question that kind of slipped my mind. What did you guys think of that hammer? Starting with shadyforce.
I mean, I was in Ice Palace because I didn't really know where else to go. I'm sure there were other places open to me, but I kind of was struggling a bit. But I mean, when I found it, I figured that it was probably going to be the last place relkin looked, or like a good entrance player is probably the last place they're going to get to, that big chest. And I thought I might have been in a good position. I'm not too surprised to hear you say I got there first. But yeah, very, very funny location.
And then same question to you, relkin, that hammer location.
We hated it.
Not even in Ice Palace, but like in the big chest.
When the big key was on the right side.
Yeah, and like
it's just a sign for inconvenience.
I don't think you can get there without just mirroring out. I guess you can probably do the hard bomb jump on Ice Palace backwards and kill all the enemies. I think you can get back that way, maybe.
Yeah, well, since I think there's only one available key, I think you were forced to mirror out logically. Of course, you didn't have to. Honestly, if you'd done the right step, you would have been fine. I icebreakered, so I got the big key and still had to mirror out anyway, get a small.
I didn't have Samari at the time. I was very sad going into Ice Palace without any.
As you're just now about to find this about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that shovel spot.
I'm only picking them up because I tuned into the restream once I forfeit, and you guys said, "Oh, the Smith," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to check that." Yeah, And then the shovel, oh yeah, I had picked that up somewhere as well, and I didn't get around to checking it. So I guess I wasn't actually that far from being in a kind of a go mode situation. I think once I get the fire rod, flute, and Samaria, that's go mode or something close to it anyway.
Yeah, that would actually put you in go mode. It's just like that, the flute location being tough, as well as just that hammer being absolutely disgustingly off. Just ugh. Oh, and by the way, in case you were curious, there, shadyforce, the boots were on Pendant Moth.
Oh, interesting. Well, why did I not beat Moth when I was there? Oh yeah, no fire source.
No fire source. Yeah.
That no fire source just kind of threw you for a bit of a loop there, as you've unleashed your swag deck. I guess looking forward. Do you know what's next for you in the tournament, shadyforce, or in the league?
Well, it'll come as no surprise to anyone that I'm sitting out next week in Cross Keys Week. But I have my 2 trusted deputies who are actually competent at this mode, and they're gonna do a great job. And then I'm gonna come back in then for the fun modes later on, the co-op modes.
All right, and relkin, same question to you. What's next in your league?
I'll be racing next week for Crossworld Key Sanity. I think I'll be up against Ninban. So that'll be it'll be a tough one because he's a extremely good runner at a lot of.
I mean, and that's not to put to slight you. To finish this seed under 2 hours is honestly quite impressive, especially considering just the dirtiness of the hammer location. And just a lot of things. Any final comments to either of you before we send this off into that?
Just good luck in your next race, Relkin, and for the rest of the league.
Yep, same to you. You guys are really good. All you guys are very good. I hope to see you again in the playoffs if you catch my drift.
I think there's a good chance. I think we can still make it. We've lost 2-0 against arguably the 2 toughest teams in this division, but if we get good results against the rest, we could well meet again, and hopefully under slightly more favorable circumstances for me.
All right, and I want to thank you guys for hanging out with their. You absolutely should do so. They are they put on a hell of a show, and they definitely deserve your love and support. All right, and we'll look into what's coming up next in the Link to the Past Randomizer League itself. Right now on ALTTPR 2 is Reg versus Big Dunka. I'm not sure where they are. That's on the ALTTPR channel. Coming up in actually pretty soon here, we should see Megawatt versus Etium on ALTTPR League 2. Dace Cloud and Wall Kicks there on the call. Coming up later tonight, currently, and later tonight in the Speed Gaming Network channels. On Speed Gaming 1 right now is the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer Tournament. On Speed Gaming 3, you will find the Diablo 1 PvP Championship. An interesting thing to see here on Speed Gaming. On Speed Gaming number 5, you're seeing Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer Challenger Cup. Coming up here at 9 Eastern on Speed Gaming 3 is the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament. On Speed Gaming 4, it's the ALTTPR. So Speed Gaming 4 tonight at 9 Eastern is the Link to the Past Randomizer version 18 throwback. This today being the anniversary of the start of one of the very first Link to the Past Randomizer tournament that was held back what is now 3 years ago today. So if you want to see something interesting tonight at 9 o'clock, they're playing version 18, as we are now currently on 31. That is quite a bit of versions back here. Also later tonight, you'll see some Super Metroid multi-category at 10 p.m. on the main Speed Gaming channel. And you looked, and there is more Link to the Past Randomizer League action tonight. Don't you worry, Speed Gaming 2 at 9:10 Eastern is Black Wax versus Freddy. So lots of stuff that is Link to the West Coast and versus the Sexy Ganons. Lots of fun stuff here on the Speed Gaming Network channels, and lots of Link to the Past Randomizer League. Saturday looks to be an absolutely stacked schedule. If you're a fan of fast games, you're in the right place. Make sure you're checking out Link to the Past Randomizer League.com. Make sure you drop a follow to our tracker, Cassidy Moan, stepping in the last moment. Of course, my good friend and commentator, Bandman25. I'm Benji the Tree, and any last words for that, Bandman?
I had a good time watching this match. I mean, it's always great seeing runners do things that I can only do in my dreams or in this seat or in my nightmares. But it definitely was fun to watch. Great run by both gentlemen. Definitely look forward to watching you guys more. And I want to thank you for taking the time and sitting with me here today and just kind of chatting with me about the race. And I tried to fill in wherever I could. So hopefully we get to do it again soon.
All right, and with that, thank you all so much for watching. Keep it locked in and speak to me now. Best. Good night and good rando.